People always comment when they come into my home about how clean and tidy and organized it seems. And let me just say thank you, I aim to please, but also they always ask me with a follow-up question, how do you do this with 2 small kids and a full-time job and not a lot of family support? Well, the simple answer is anyone can do this. And in this video, I'm going to show you my 3-step process for getting your life in order to be more organized and more in control. By having less things to care for and being ultra intentional about what I bring in and keep in my home, through many minimalist type of practices, I'm able to manage what I am looking after in my home. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can do the same with my easy 3-step process for getting started. If you're new here, my name is Julie and I teach people how to simplify, organize, and declutter their spaces in a minimalist fashion so that they can regain their time and take back control of their lives. So make sure if you are new to subscribe, hit the notification bell, give this video a big thumbs up, and with all that said, let's jump right in. Before we get started into the 3-step process, I want you to take a moment to think about a mindset shift that needs to really change if you are to be successful at keeping your home clutter-free, minimalist, simple, going forward. One of the things that we are kind of conditioned to do in society is to accrue more and more and more things. As time has gone on, goods have gotten cheaper and cheaper, and so it's easier for us to have access to so many things. Never mind the fact that marketers prey on us with all different kinds of gadgets and trinkets and appliances that we don't really need. So I want you to shift your perspective into thinking, how can I fit the things that I currently have in the space that I have, rather than trying to create more space to fit all of the things that I want to buy and have to care for. You need to commit today, if you want to make a big change, to comfortably storing and housing all of your possessions without buying more storage space or investing in a bigger home. Because the thing is that you will never have enough space. You'll just keep buying more things to fill it up. The next thing I want you to do is play a little game with yourself and imagine that you were moving countries and that you and your family were only allowed 2 suitcases per person. What would you pack? What would you leave behind? What can you actually live without? Now, I don't need you to go to this exact extreme, although that would be a good experiment. But I want you to think about things that are really, really meaningful to you, that are not easily replaced, and things that you really want to keep in your home. Things that bring you joy, if you will. Because those are the type of things that you want to care for, that you want to create space for, that you want to use and display or whatever it is in your home. And those should be your priority. Everything else that doesn't fit into those 2 suitcases, those should really be questioned, queried, and we should determine whether they get to stay. And if you do end up decluttering or donating an item that in a few years' time you feel like you need, likely if you're in a position to be watching this video, you probably will be able to access that item again. So when your mind, your scarcity brain is telling you, oh, no, don't let go, we need to hoard, we need to keep everything for survival, which I believe is an evolutionary tactic that we've kept into the 21st century. When you go down that spiral, think to yourself, if I really, really need this thing, I can probably make a plan to get it back. So now that you have imagined your 2 suitcases and what you would actually keep that kind of framework in mind when evaluating your space. And as I mentioned before, I have an easy 3-step process to help get you started with decluttering and minimizing your space. So here goes. Number 1. If you're living in a place which is just overrun by things, you need to start decluttering before you can organize. Otherwise, you're just organizing around in circles, you're moving things from point A to point B, and really you're just redecorating. You're not actually making lasting changes. Once you have removed everything from a space, which is something that I talk about with my students and my community, I really believe that if you're gonna declutter something like a closet or a shelf or a bathroom cabinet or something, you need to remove everything from that space. It's like starting off on a clean slate. You're going to give that place, that spot, a really good clean, because how often does it really get cleaned before you put anything back? Now the third step is before you start to put everything back again, you need to really think about how you intend to use these things. So one of the principles that I live by is functional over aesthetics. And you know, if you're concerned about how things look, eventually with a lot less stuff, your space is probably gonna look so much better just on its own. But I want you to focus on functional things, because a lot of the time, the reason why people struggle to keep a space organized is because they haven't organized it in a functional manner. What do I mean by that? Things that you use the most, so high traffic items, they need to be at the forefront of whatever that space is. You shouldn't be reaching to the back of a cabinet to find your toothpaste if it's something that you're using 2 or 3 times a day. And by ensuring that you are placing the object's function first, aesthetics later, you are going to do so much better with your space. Another little tip is to not overload a space. Another reason why people fail with organization or decluttering is because they try and stuff too many things into a very small space, hoping that they'll be able to maintain these little trinkets over time, and it just never works. So ask yourself, how often do I use this thing? And does it need more prime real estate compared to its friends? All right, and then you're gonna wash, rinse, and repeat this process throughout your home. And you're probably thinking, wow, that's all good and well, Julie, easy for you to say, but how do I even begin? I feel so overwhelmed. All I wanna do is switch on the TV or go shopping, zone out, anything to kind of make this problem of clutter and chaos go away. And I get you. I totally understand the desire to be the ostrich with your head in the sand. But at some point, if you want to make a real change, if you want to live a better life, if you want to not have your stuff controlling you and you be in charge of your stuff, you really have to face the music. And so I hope by making these videos and providing you with the support that you need, that you will be able to take these steps to get back on the horse. Likely you have many areas in your home that are all competing for top priority when it comes to decluttering. If this is you, I would just pick one. I'm going to give you some suggestions in a moment about where you can start if you feel completely lost. But if you have all your rooms that are just busting out of the seams, it doesn't matter. Pick one and start decluttering with this process. If you know which room or which area in your home is bugging you the most, it's the thing that permanently drives you crazy, of course, start with that, because momentum is really, really motivating. When you start to see success, you want to continue, you want to keep going, and you're much more likely to stick with it. But if you really have no idea where to begin, I would start with your closet. This is the most common thing that we think of when we think of decluttering. Most of us have at least a bag or two of things that we can easily declutter. It's easy to donate clothes to your friends and family or to a donation center, and it's so satisfying to see those 3 or 4 or 5 garbage bins filled up and given away to a charity or someone that needs it. So start with your closet so that you can actually see what clothes you have. Or expand to your bedroom, and then once you've done that, I would consider starting or continuing in the kitchen, because that is typically the heart of the home, and this is a good place that everybody can benefit from if you declutter, simplify and minimize all of your things in your kitchen. Now, I like the kitchen to be calm, to be functional, to feel like a very homey, welcoming space. But it also needs to be a place that I want to spend time in. So use those 3 tips that we spoke about: declutter, clean, then reorganize, and start to implement that into your kitchen. So for example, if you have 2 blenders because you bought a new one because the other one was older or whatever, you don't need 2 blenders. Consider donating that blender. If you have 4 members in your household and 35 coffee mugs, and 2 of those people are under the age of 5 and don't really use coffee mugs, consider letting go of some of those mugs. How many times can I say mugs? Because here's the thing. I think people also struggle with decluttering because they still have stuff that they can use. They have stuff that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Why would you throw it out? And you need to think about it like this. If that stuff is causing you more angst, it's causing you to spend money to pay for its storage, you need to wash it and clean it and look after it, never mind the money that you spent on it, it's probably not worth it. Consider that there are people that will love and use and need those coffee mugs, and you probably don't need 35. The other thing is that by cutting down, along with the kitchen analogy, your cutlery and your plates, it also doesn't give you permission to let all your dishes pile up for weeks on end before you actually need to clean them because now you've run out of mugs or plates or whatever it is. If you only have the right amount that you need, so for a family of 4, we have 6 dinner plates, for example, and if we have more people over for that, we make a plan. You know, you don't have to have as few as we do, you can have more, but you don't need a whole bunch, 2 dozen, 3 dozen dinner plates for a family of 4. You just need to wash your dishes a little more often. A lot of people also hesitate to declutter because they are waiting to sell things that they have bought. And whilst I think that is perfectly fine, especially if you're using it as an income strategy, remember that you have already spent that money. It's kind of a sunk cost. And if you're not getting any more use out of the item, or it's just taking up space, you might just consider donating it and, you know, calling it a learning experience. Obviously, if it's something expensive like a camera or an appliance or something that will have a high resale value, consider looking at like Amazon Marketplace or Facebook marketplace groups, that kind of stuff, by all means. But I know for me, when I was going through like a major decluttering process, it was so much easier for my mental health just to donate things and to learn that I don't want to buy the same stuff again, or before I buy something new or something similar, I would sell or discard that original thing. It also goes without saying, but you need to be on top of your maintenance game when it comes to keeping your home simple, organized, and more minimalist. If there's obvious garbage or junk lying around, throw it away. If it takes less than a minute to do, just do it. There's going to be a transition period when you're trying to change your life in any sphere, and especially in your home, which you see all day long. So be patient with yourself, but also don't let yourself off the hook. You can't have, you know, wrappers and things lying around and expect to feel calm and organized in a space like that. Those are my ultra simple tips and 3-step process to starting your minimalism journey. I can't even tell you how much these tips and this process has saved me and how minimalism has changed my life. I'm thinking of doing a video about that kind of part of my life, so if you guys are interested, don't forget to comment down below and let me know if you'd like me to do that video. Additionally, I also have a free 5-part series all about how to take control, get more organized, start doing all these things right now with lots of free resources. So if you would like to download that video series, go ahead and click in the description box below. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification bell, give this video a big thumbs up if you like minimalism, simplifying, and decluttering videos, as well as intentional living. I love talking about this stuff, and I can't wait to see you guys in my next video. Bye!